Well, this is a bit of a transition. We are absolutely delighted to be brought in to the embrace of this incredible project here at Heifetz. As lovers of the violin and cello, or as in Scotland, we call it the fiddle and the big fiddle. It is incredible to come into this assembled company, such great students, such great faculty, and to get to explore the different avenues that one can follow. So I'm going to invite you now to just take a wee minute and fully digest the Mozart, because we're going to the world of myself and Natalie. And for almost 20 years, we've been exploring the idea of fiddle and cello. And I've been joking for many years because people come to see us and they say, well, that's a strange little band you have. And they would jokingly say, you're missing half of your string quartet. And that seems even more appropriate this evening. But I like to set this what we're doing in a historical sense, in that in Scotland, in the 18th century, into the 19th century, even into the early 20th century, the dance band of choice was a fiddle and a cello. And that was it. All the great balls from Edinburgh up to Aberdeen and Glasgow, all the after parties, the ceilidhs, the small drawing room sessions. 18th century Scotland was the heyday for fiddle and cello. That was it, nothing else. Playing for 5 hours for a dance. And the great doyen of Scottish fiddlers, Neil Gow himself, was noted for playing for dances with his brother Donald on the cello. And people had to leave the ballroom because they couldn't contain themselves from the excitement that was being generated. So we thought, why don't we put the cello back there in the middle of traditional music? And so no better ambassador of the cello here than Natalie Haas in that regard. So we're going to, I'm transitioning. Right? We've moved past Mozart now. But I am going to kind of dovetail this into the piece we're about to play, which is called The Highlander's Farewell to Ireland. And it's a great old Scottish strathspey. It was a hit in Edinburgh in the mid-1700s. It was originally a song written by Mozart contemporary Robert Burns, Scotland's great bard, who was an incredible poet, as I'm sure you know, but he was also an amazing songsmith. He was also a not too bad fiddler, depending on who you talk to. But he loved the fiddle, and often he would set the poetry in his mind to the fiddle tunes that were running around in his head, and so create amazing songs like My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose, and all the songs that he's famous for. So this is one that he wrote. The song is called Highland Harry, which was written to a dance tune called Highlander's Farewell to Ireland. And you may well ask, what were the Highlanders doing in Ireland? But that's a whole other story. But we do want to pick up the story here. We're going to play the strathspey the way Robert Burns would have heard it. And then we're going to follow these tunes, because these fiddle tunes, man, they just keep showing up everywhere. You could follow the fiddle, I always say, no matter where you go. And we take the Highlander's Farewell, the old Scottish version, and then we nip over to Ireland, where to this day, you'll hear that tune, that same tune played, but in an Irish way. And it's called the Killarney Boys of Pleasure. I don't understand what happened in that transition, but so we'll play the Irish version, and then we'll make our way over to this beautiful country and land it right in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains as we'll play the old-time American version of Highlander's Farewell. So this is basically a medley of one tune. 3 different incarnations of this tune, and it brings us right to the land that we're sitting on right now. I must say that it's not quite that simple, the medley, because after the first two, after the Irish version, we play a jig, for no reason, just as kind of a sort of a palate cleanser as we go into the next tune. And at the very end, you hear the old Scottish version coming back and kind of swimming alongside the Appalachian version. I've said enough, but I want to add one thing because I cannot help myself. In this company, Robert Burns's publisher in 18th century Scotland was a man called Thomson, and he was quite ambitious. He knew he could make money when Robert Burns brought out a new song. He would publish a pamphlet. It would go on sale at Neil Gow and Sons music shop in Princes Street, Edinburgh, and everyone would scurry down to Princes Street and buy a copy and then run home and play it on the fiddle and the cello and the flute and the harpsichord. And so there was money to be made in these pamphlets. And so Thomson got the great idea, why don't we arrange these songs by Burns using contemporary composers? So he asked Beethoven to actually have a go. And so there is a Beethoven arrangement of the Highlanders' Farewell to Ireland. Beethoven duly did this for a price, sent it to Thomson. Thomson didn't like it. So he sent it back and said, can you have another go? And Beethoven said, well, he behaved as one does sometimes in this kind of scenario. He named an exorbitant price for another attempt at an arrangement, thinking that would be the end of it. They wouldn't ask for a sec. But there are two arrangements of Highlander's Farewell to Ireland by Beethoven, and we're not playing either of them. But here we go.